Yeah.
I used to dream about showing the world what I dream about. Forget a mic, my whole life I thought it'd be the mouth. I guess it's fitting how life threw me the curveball. Pops told me work till you make it, man, then work more. I guess I took that to heart, cause I've been working harder now than I...
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mom's Basement, or Mind Over Matter Sports. We appreciate you guys being here, watching, listening, whatever it may be, on whatever platform it may be, because guess what? We're on iTunes now, as well as YouTube. So you can search us up on iTunes in the podcast tab there, and of course we're still going to be on YouTube. And also, if you didn't know, we have joined the Crossover Report, so make sure you guys are checking out them on all their social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and check out their website, crossoverreport.com. Great stuff coming out of that website every day. Super good content. Super good guys over there. So make sure you guys check them out. And we're going to jump right into it here. We've got MLB and a lot of NBA talk today.
I'm Corey, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Well, they know who you are.
No, they don't.
That's Corey.
I'm not relevant enough, guys.
He's very relevant. So we got MLB. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl for a little bit, and then we're really going to get into the NBA because, a lot of stuff going on.
He's had the roast hands ready for a couple months now.
So, Corey, why don't you go ahead and talk about the White Sox here for a second?
Not much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. White Sox are at Sox Fest currently, and it's a time where you get to interact with players and managers, executives, everything like that. Just a couple highlights that are coming out of there. Rick Hahn has stated that the White Sox are closer to the beginning of this rebuild as opposed to the end, even though 2 trades acquired them, one of the top 5 farm systems in all of baseball. It's still going to be a process. It's going to take another year or so to really accumulate the talent because they still have players to move. But it's refreshing for me to hear that they're not going to rush any of the prospects.
Should be.
And yeah, I feel like they're doing it the right way. I'm hoping that Jose Quintana gets dealt over the next couple weeks before spring training starts. Right now, the 2 hottest teams after him are the Astros and the Pirates, both of whom seem to have quote-unquote untouchables in their system because they just don't want a top pitcher. I don't understand why they think that they're right on the doorstep to the playoffs, but the Pirates aren't.
The Pirates are nowhere near the playoffs.
Yeah, you know what? If the Pirates want to trade for Jose Quintana, more power to them, but that's not going to get them beyond 15 games out of first place. And the Astros could be there with that lineup, but they don't. They seem to have the 50th best prospect in all of baseball. His name is Kyle Tucker, and they don't want to give him up for Jose Quintana, who is borderline an ace. So I don't understand what's going on with that. Hopefully he gets moved soon so the White Sox can have the #1 farm system in baseball going into the regular season. And the only other rumor coming out from today is David Robertson has been rumored to the Blue Jays, but nothing concrete on that yet.
As for the Chicago Cubs, your World Series champions, Corey, did you forget that yet or no?
No, I don't think you'll ever let me forget it.
You'll never forget.
Ever.
All right, so the Cubs, one move this week, really. They signed Brett Anderson to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. With incentives, it could be up to $10 million. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw that, I was like, what? But basically, he's like 28 years old. He's had a lot of health issues. But back when he was really, healthy and dealing, he was one of the best ground ball pitchers in baseball. 38% ground ball rate out of him. So that's something I like to see. Kind of reminds me of, a little Sile Hendricks action from the left side.
Oh, I can't wait for him to regress this year.
He's not regressing. He's progressing.
He's going to regress.
Oh, my God. Anyway, 1 year, $3.5 million for Brett Anderson. Gives them some more options at the back end of the rotation. If they want to give it to Montgomery or if they want to put Montgomery in the bullpen and have Anderson give him a few starts, they got options to play with. I don't think they're done looking for starting pitching. I don't know what else they could be looking into, an impact move or another move like this one. But it's just more depth. That's kind of a sneaky, under-the-radar thing.
They could trade Ian Happ and Eloy Jimenez for Jose Quintana.
Stop.
They're going to lose Jake Arrieta.
Stop. We'll address that when we need to. I don't need to trade my boys right now.
I'm just saying you could.
I could. But I will not.
Maybe at the deadline when Kyle Hendricks regresses and you guys need a pitcher.
Sile Hendricks is dominant. All right, so that's really all the Cubs. That was the only news coming out of them this week. One thing we want to do real quick as we are getting closer to spring training, we want to talk about our most underrated free agents left on the market. I'll go first here. I know the Giants' bullpen was absolutely atrocious last year. 30 blown saves, I believe. They were horrible in the playoffs. Obviously, we saw that when the Cubs played them. But Sergio Romo is still a free agent. This was a guy, even with the bad bullpen last year, his ERA was 2.64. And his ERA is lower than that in his career. I believe it's 2.4. It's in the 2.4 range. So that's a really good ERA out of a guy you can pitch him in the 7th, 8th inning. He's not going to be too expensive going into his age 34 season. So I think that could be a really nice move for a team who's in the pennant race and needs that one more piece in the bullpen. Also, aforementioned former Chicago Cub pitcher Jason Hamill. He's one of the only guys to win 10-plus games in the last 3 seasons with a sub-4 ERA. So that's again, if you're close to a division or a pennant race, you need one more arm. Why not give Jason Hamill a chance? I don't know the price range really. It depends. I mean,
well, you see what Brett Anderson just got, 3.5 with escalators up to 10. So pitching's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
I mean, even if you're a shitty pitcher. I mean, remember the Cubs gave $64 million to Edwin Jackson. It's just. Pitching's expensive. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think, especially if you want to get off to a good start, because it seems Jason Hamill's awesome in the first half and then just tails off in the second half. So
yeah, Jason Hamill seems like the type of guy that the Astros would sign to think that that's the arm they need, and then it'll blow up in their faces, and they'll just be buying Quintana in July anyway. So
yeah, so I think those could be a couple underrated signings that could really help a team get towards a division title. Or into the playoff race, something like that.
Yeah, and then a couple free agents that I suggested for underrated. You have Mike Napoli from the Cleveland Indians, who, even though he didn't show up very much in the playoffs last season, he was essential to their playoff run.
Party at Napoli's.
Yeah. God damn it. And so he had 30-plus bombs. I think he had 34 homers and 100-plus RBI and an 800 even OPS. So he's going to provide, veteran leadership to a club. His numbers, I don't think he's going to replicate those numbers in his age, 35 season.
Yeah,
he's getting up there, but he could be a first baseman or a DH to an American League team. And in the same light, you have Pedro Alvarez, who could be a first base or DH type. 22 bombs and an OPS above 800, which is very efficient for a player. And again, these guys, it's just a very slow market right now. I'm sure teams are going to be waiting until spring training to see if somebody gets hurt, and then they'll have their opportunity to pick up these guys. So maybe they end up on a contender or a team that thinks they can contend if they can patch up a certain area.
I think those are two guys who probably end up on AL rosters. Napoli's been linked to the Twins because, they're just a young team who could use kind of what Cleveland needed last year with those young guys like Lindor. Just somebody who can just kind of mentor them, veteran leadership kind of.
And just as an underrated team as well, the Minnesota Twins have the possibility with the rebuilding that the White Sox are doing and how Kansas City's taken a dive a little bit and how Detroit has. Maybe they can make a run at second place in the division.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll trick themselves into thinking they're a playoff team.
Yeah, but they're not.
Yeah.
All right, so that's really all we have on baseball. Again, it's January 28th, so
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, not really much going on. Super Bowl though.
Yes.
NFL, we've got the Super Bowl coming up next Sunday. Unfortunately, the Pro Bowl is before the Super Bowl, and that's just garbage.
The Pro Bowl is one of the worst 5 things ever created.
Yeah, all the All-Star games now are a joke. Even the MLB game now doesn't mean anything. So we got the Super Bowl. We got Atlanta versus New England. Now, the more I think about it, the more I kick myself. Why did I not go pick Atlanta? What was I missing?
I was thinking that too. Atlanta has, I believe, 7 starters on their defense who are in their first year or second year.
They've drafted very
league.
well in defense.
They've drafted very well. Shout out to Ryan Pace for picking Kevin White 7th overall when Vic Beasley went 8th overall to the Falcons. They have a bunch of talent on that defense that's very young. They're building sort of their own Dan Quinn, Seattle kind of defense.
Man. What a job.
He's done a great job. And then Kyle Shanahan is offensive coordinator. Matt Ryan's going to be the MVP this year.
He's got a foot out the door, though.
Yeah, he's got a foot out the door, but I'm sure he wants his ring. I don't think that's going to be distracting him. They have an all-world wide receiver in Julio Jones. Their running game is efficient enough.
1-2 punch, and the running game is phenomenal.
Yeah, I didn't pick them versus I picked the Packers-Patriots Super Bowl just because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback maybe to ever exist. So I figured he would be enough to carry that mediocre roster to a Super Bowl, but Atlanta proved to be far too much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't see why we didn't pick Atlanta, but that was my logic.
Because I'm thinking right now that Atlanta is going to win the game. like right now, that's what I'm thinking. I think the Patriots are almost kind of like the Packers, but with a little more talent. I don't think they're all that great, per se. I think they're the best coached team in the NFL.
You give Bill Belichick 2 weeks to prepare for
the best coached team in the NFL. They've got the best quarterback of all time. But, I mean, who's on that defense other than Butler? And McCourty. They got two guys.
They have Shea McClellan.
Oh, my God. Shea McClellan.
They have Shea McClellan, but you just look at these matchups on paper, and I can't tell you that the Patriots have a better overall talent collection because I don't think they do. But man, it's really hard to pick against Brady and Belichick.
I'm going to, because here's our prediction. I'm picking Atlanta.
God, what score would you pick for them?
I'm going to go 33-28.
Yeah, that's that's really hard. I think I could see something like maybe 34-28, but in favor of the Patriots. You got Brady leading them down in the last 2 minutes of the game, and he puts the ball in the end zone.
How about if Atlanta wins this game, with friendly wager, you have to wear a Mike Stud T-shirt on the next podcast.
You gonna buy me that Mike Stud T-shirt?
Sure.
All right. And what do I get if I win?
That's up to you. That's what you want.
Oh, I'm put on the spot here.
You have to think on the fly.
Let me let you know at the end of the show.
By the end of the show?
Let me let you know at the end of the show.
All right, you're gonna wear that, and you are going to say 3 phrases. And you're gonna model the shirt. I want you to feel it.
Oh my God! I gotta think about what I want.
Yeah. All right.
You're letting me take Brady and Belichick.
I am.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I'll think about it while the show's going on. But right now, yeah, I'm taking the Patriots. Joe's gonna ride with the Falcons.
All right, and I hope it's a good game because
I think it will be,
because the NFL playoffs have let me down. It's making me feel like a little bit like the NBA regular season, where there's absolutely no parity. How many good games we had in the NFL playoffs? One, Dallas and Green Bay.
Dallas and Green Bay. That was
That's about it. Like, that's so disappointing. You sit down every week in the playoffs looking for the best football of the season, and we're not getting it. So hopefully the Super Bowl makes up for it, and it's a phenomenal game with a classic finish, and Matt Ryan holding that Lombardi trophy.
Yeah,
Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons.
We'll see. I think Roger Goodell's going to be awkwardly handing it off to Tom Brady. But
I don't know if it'll be awkward. You think it'll be awkward?
I think Brady's going to be like... So.
I think Brady just wants to win his,
You might have
ring.
Do you have to bleep that out?
What?
Me doing the middle fingers.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I'm not going to.
Good.
So.
We'll find out. But
that's too much time.
I wanted to do it.
All right. So Corey has figured out his demands for the Super Bowl bet between him and myself. Corey, go ahead and explain the 4 things you want me to do if New England wins the Super Bowl.
All right. I want to give a shout out to Seth and Chris, who are 2 of our best friends in our little group chat. I messaged them while we were taking a break, and Chris suggested that Joey wears a White Sox shirt while on camera. I will buy Joey a White Sox shirt to wear on camera.
Can I pick what White Sox shirt it is? Like,
am I going to pick which Mike Stud shirt it is?
Sure, I don't care.
Nope. Nope.
But like, if I want to wear like a I don't know, a Yon Moncada tee.
No.
I don't get to pick. Okay.
No, you don't. And I won't pick the Mike Stud shirt. Secondly, you are going to, on camera, state that the 2005 Chicago White Sox baseball season was the best baseball season that Chicago baseball has ever seen over any other world champion that may have come in the last, 6 months or so. Within the last 6 months or so. So that's number 2. Number 3 and 4, shout out to Seth here. He said that he wants Joey to get up to close the show, so he is going to stand to where the camera can see him in his White Sox shirt. He is going to give us jazz hands, and he is going to tell all of you that you are shagadelic, baby, yeah. We are going to be doing that. That is if the New England Patriots win the Super Bowl. And if the Atlanta Falcons do, I will wear his Mike Stud shirt and say his Mike Stud phrases. That's the deal.
Because Mike Stud's the GOAT.
We shaking on this bitch? We are. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Atlanta, Matt Ryan, Dan Quinn, Julio Jones, don't let me down.
Oh, you gave me Brady and Belichick. I don't know what you're dealing with.
Hey,
here,
no points, straight up bet.
Straight up bet.
Winner takes all.
Shit. Now I'm nervous.
You're nervous? Jesus. I'd be humiliating myself.
Yeah, it's kind of... Well, I would too.
I don't know about that.
Like such trash.
Oh, stop. That's such a lie. All right, let's get into the NBA now. And I hate to sound like a broken record, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
God, I was so right. Bulls 23-25, and this has been a ridiculous week. More than a week, but ridiculous, especially this week alone. You got Butler saying he only wants to play with people who care. Wade agreeing with Butler. And then you got Rajon Rondo just taking to Instagram.
Well, yeah, let's just start it with Wade and Butler. So, after they lost to... Who were they playing that this started? Was it Atlanta?
I believe it was Atlanta.
After they lost
Wednesday.
to Atlanta on their home floor, they gave up a 19-4 run in the fourth quarter. Jimmy and D Wade, for some reason, had a nice little meeting in the shower. Yeah, that's about as gay as it sounds. And no, it's not insulting our gay viewers, but it's two men naked in a shower together talking. So it's just something. And apparently they collaborated on what they were going to talk to the media about, and they decided to call out the younger players in the locker room about Nico Mirotic and Paul Zipser not taking the right shots at the right time. When in crunch time you're giving Zipser the shot, you're giving Nico the shot, when they felt that the 73 points they had combined, the ball should be going to them. And then that blew up. And Rajon Rondo takes to Instagram and he posts a photo of himself with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. And Rondo says that my leaders, my veterans would never do that. So Rondo's basically calling out Butler and D Wade on Instagram. And Butler says he's fine with controversy. And then the next game they play, they go out and Jimmy shoots 1 for 12 or 1 for 13 and scores 3 points.
Yeah.
And they think that the accurate punishment was Wade and Butler not starting the game like this was college football or something like that.
It's nothing.
And the GM and the ownership, Gar Forman and John Paxson, are pissed. And Hoiberg's not yelling at anybody, but Hoiberg should be canned. And they're a mess, guys.
All right, so now let's address this here. First of all, never go to the media with your inside the locker room team issues. Never go to the media. Dwayne Wade, how you've been in this league since 2003. This should not be news to you. And am I wrong to say that I can't stand Jimmy Butler? I can't stand.
I can't stand D Wade more than I can't stand Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler's not in the right here too. If I was Nico Mirotic or Paul Zipser, my big man self, I'd be getting up in their fucking faces.
Jimmy Butler's acting like a punk. A straight up punk.
I mean, Jimmy Butler has accomplished nothing in this league.
Yeah, nothing.
He's a 2-time All-Star. Congratulations.
An All-Star game, that's a joke. That no one plays defense. So.
Good for you. You haven't won a single championship, and you're not a cornerstone.
You're not relevant.
You're not a superstar.
Honestly.
You are not a superstar. I don't care what anybody says. You're not. And Dwayne Wade, sure, you've won 3 titles in this league, but you know what? You came to Chicago, and you were looking for money. You got the money. The Bulls owe you $24 million over the next 2 years. You're not going to get that anywhere else. So you're going to opt into your deal, and you're going to play for the money. You're not going to go championship hunting. I don't know what they thought they signed up for here.
Oof, this makes me so mad. And then we've got Butler on the court also not agreeing. Like Hoiberg's on the sideline going, timeout? Maybe? Looking at Butler like confused, and Butler's like, no. Like, what does that tell you right there? Right there. No respect for your coach. You don't trust your coach. You want to do it your way, which maybe Hoiberg is wrong to call timeout. But you know what? Still the head coach.
I mean,
some way he got a job.
If the entire team, Mark Trestman got a job as a head coach in the NFL.
Yikes.
People get coaching jobs who aren't supposed to. This Bulls team is the equivalent of the Mark Trestman Chicago Bears with Phil Emery. They're just an absolute wreck. If the entire team woke up tomorrow, team, coach, ownership said, I'm done with basketball business and decided to retire, the Bulls would be in a much better place.
Excuse me. I can't stand Rajon Rondo, but I actually agree with him in this situation. I don't like that he put it on Instagram, of course, but everything he said, I actually agree with.
It's very ironic that he put it on
It is
Instagram
super
because he's
ironic.
calling out people for making things public, and then he makes it public on Instagram. But out of anybody in the situation who is possibly right, it's probably him.
It's Rajon Rondo. And
Yeah, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to call somebody out, you do it in the locker room. You do it where the media isn't.
Yes, you handle it yourselves, and he was saying that that's what Garnett and Pierce and Doc Rivers even would do. They handle everything in-house, and that's why they were the best team in the Eastern Conference, and that's why they won the championship.
That's the mark of a good leader, is somebody who can motivate the younger players in the right way. And calling people out in the media, that's not going to do it.
No. And Fred Hoiberg, actually, now, if we had to rate the hot seat on Fred Hoiberg,
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Boy, would I love to see Fred Hoiberg fired. I don't think they're going to.
I'd like to go back 2 or 3 years in the time machine and not fire Tom Thibodeau.
Well, we would all love that.
I mean, Hoiberg is just the... when you had Tibbs was the coach of the year in his first year in the league, and the fastest coach in NBA history to 100 wins. He is a premier top 5 coach in the NBA at that time, and then, he can't control that Derrick Rose got hurt in the playoffs and tore his ACL, and that's how it happens. You go from a top 5 coach in the league to a bottom 5
Bottom
coach.
5, yeah.
Tom Thibodeau made Joakim Noah
First team All-NBA.
All-NBA, Defensive Player of the Year, third in the MVP voting. He made Derrick Rose an MVP. He made Jimmy Butler an All-Star, Luol Deng an All-Star.
What's Joakim Noah doing in New York right now?
Airballing free throws.
Airballing free throws, yeah.
Now, you got... He, for all of Tom Thibodeau's flaws, he did try too hard in the regular season, but he squeezed every ounce of talent that he could get
out of
every single player. And if you couldn't do that, you were not playing.
And Hoiberg, now, you say 11 out of 10. I don't want to put a number on it because I just don't think they're going to fire him.
Well, that's different, I think. Well, it's maybe not different. I think Hoiberg should be 11 out of 10 on the hot seat, but he's not going to get fired.
I agree, he should be, but $15 million guaranteed over the next 3 seasons. So essentially you'd be paying 2 coaches to do one job while hopefully rebuilding. Who knows? We saw everyone saw the article that the Bulls would be in on a pursuit of Chris Bosh. If Chris Bosh becomes healthy enough to play basketball, that is stupid. I swear to God.
Let's take the veteran who's got what does he have?
Blood clots
in his legs. Yeah, let's see how well that works out. Let's have him be a superstar. When Chris Bosh was the third player in that big 3, and Chris Bosh, probably a future Hall of Fame player. The NBA's got weird standards for their Hall of Fame players. He was a good player in his time, but blood clots in the legs, and I can't tell you the last time he's played a game.
That's a mess. If they do that, that's a mess. I don't watch the Bulls as it is because they're such a train wreck. But if you go out and sign Chris Bosh and pair him with Dwayne Wade, oh my God.
Yeah, that would have been fine,
5 years ago?
7, 8, 10 years ago. Not now. And they are in the worst shape of any Chicago team.
Yeah.
And maybe the worst team in the NBA as far as what their direction is.
Future direction, yeah. One thing's for sure, the front office got to go. Got to be gone. Got to have it. I have already tweeted the Bulls.
I saw that.
I have let them know that I will put my name
with your horrific grammar.
My grammar was off. I'm sorry. Tim Gross pointed that out. But
I saw that.
Yeah, it was like, it's time to win again. But yeah, no. I have submitted my name for consideration to be the head of basketball operations for the Chicago Bulls. I will get things on track. If you're listening to this, Jerry Reinsdorf, I will get things
Jerry's
on track.
part of the problem. He's too damn loyal to these people.
Listen, Garpax, garbage. Throw them out. Gotta go.
I used to like Garpax because I thought they made some smart decisions drafting-wise. I mean, getting Jimmy Butler with the 30th pick.
Sure, that's
great.
Great.
They lucked into Derrick Rose, which is fine.
Boy, if they would have taken Michael Beasley. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, and then you get the right coach in place who turns Joakim Noah into what he was. He maximizes Luol Deng. They did right in the beginning. It's just they were never able. It started with them not being able to land LeBron and not being able to land D Wade or Bosh or whoever else was free agents. Not being able to coordinate a trade for Kevin Love while Derrick Rose was still in his prime, or not getting Carmelo to come. It's just all these different things. They fell short, and then they've just taken a dive. They traded 2 picks for Doug McDermott.
Oof.
I know the NBA draft system is based on, if you can get yourself in the top 3 or 5 and get yourself a superstar, But they traded into the top 10 or 11 picks to get Doug McDermott by giving up 2 first-round picks.
This
And
next
Doug
NBA
McDermott's
draft,
been garbage.
this next NBA draft is stacked.
Yeah,
From
so
everything I've heard.
they're what, the 7th seed right now, the Bulls are, I believe?
I don't even know where they're at.
I think they were a game out of the 6th seed, so they might be the 7th seed. Let me look it up. But they need to miss the playoffs at all costs.
The Bulls, speaking on, more on Fred Hoiberg, I saw it was he doesn't confront players because he cares too much about them.
What?
He doesn't confront them because he cares about them.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's not coaching.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the Bulls are currently the 8th seed and are 1 game up on the Bucks and Pistons, who are trying to make the playoffs. And you know what? Leading into kind of our next topic, I would love to see the Bucks in the playoffs because you got the Greek Freak.
The Greek Freak. Now, for me, this is what is saving my viewership to basketball right now. It's 3 guys that I love watching play the game. Outside of, obviously, LeBron. Everyone likes watching LeBron. He's the best player on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Westbrook, obviously a god. Averaging the triple-double.
we-
Not starting in the All-Star game. Don't know why.
That's so dumb.
That's
but
so
we,
dumb.
we said that, well, at least I predicted that Russell Westbrook would be the MVP. I still think Russell Westbrook will win the MVP award.
James Harden will steal some votes, but
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook will.
I don't
win
think
MVP.
there's not much argument, I don't think, against Russell Westbrook. But a lot of NBA players have been playing very well. But Russell is definitely one of the top players in the league.
And then, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, Milwaukee Bucks. Back when this guy was drafted, I think it was Rick Bucher
Yeah, Rick Bucher's
said
MVP.
he was too raw and would need a lot of time to progress. That was a flat-out lie. Corey, give him the numbers.
Well, Giannis Antetokounmpo, first of all, is 22 years old, and he was born December 6, 1994. I am older than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo is averaging 23.4 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. He can
does
do it all.
Everything. And he's so long. I've never seen somebody move so well and be 6'11".
He's 6'11", but I'm pretty sure he has like a 7'6" wingspan.
He's got the longest arms known to man. Period.
It's ridiculous, but he's a star.
Yeah.
He's definitely a star, and he is a guy you can build around.
him.
Absolutely, and I'd rather see him match up against LeBron in the first round of the playoffs if they sneak in as the 8th seed. Is much more entertaining to me than seeing Jimmy Butler attempt to be a
whining
superstar.
Jimmy Butler and a whining Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, and people ask me why I don't consider Jimmy Butler a superstar because he can't come close to matching what LeBron James does on the floor, or he can't be that guy you trust with LeBron James guarding him.
Yeah.
So I think Giannis versus LeBron would be a great playoff.
And for anyone who was questioning the Giannis Antetokounmpo getting 5 years, $100 million before the NBA season,
he's worth it.
earning it, earning every cent.
That contract's going to be valuable too as the cap goes
the cap
up.
rises. Yes.
Maybe Milwaukee can attract another superstar.
Well, they already have Jabari. Jabari's not a bad player. He's flying under the radar.
Yeah, I'm
He's
not
still
sure
coming back from the ACL.
what has Jabari Parker done this year.
He's coming off that ACL injury. So
Is he playing?
Yeah, he's playing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, he's playing.
Let's
So,
see.
Greg
Yeah,
Monroe.
look at Jabari
Yeah, 20
Parker.
points.
Jesus,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not up on my Milwaukee Bucks basketball, but they got some pieces there.
Yeah. Greg Monroe, who they have now, I believe, he's kind of fallen off the map. But if they could attract another 1 to 2 pieces there, that's a team for sure.
Yeah, I don't see why they're not the 8th seed right now, I don't see how they're not better than the Bulls right now. They probably are better than the Bulls,
They probably are.
but their record says they're not, and you've got 2 really young pieces. They're 21 and 22 each.
Yeah.
That's
our age.
ridiculous.
That's our age, yeah.
I'm older than them both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sitting here doing a podcast, and we're as professional as we can be.
Yep.
But, yeah, the Bulls are garbage.
Garbage. And one more thing on the Bulls before I go into my last player that I love watching in the NBA now. The younger players now are actually complaining that Dwayne Wade doesn't practice enough. So you've got the older players, the veterans, going at the younger players, and I've got the younger players chirping back at the older players. This is not what you want to have as a professional basketball team.
Yeah, again, if I was Niko Mirotic or I was Paul Zipser, I would look Dwayne Wade right in the face, and I might punch him in that face. I mean, you don't call somebody out to the media like that, so screw Dwayne Wade. I think he's the biggest...
That doesn't end any way but badly. Period.
you can overlook Jimmy Butler a little bit because he's not had that experience as a leader, but Dwayne Wade he taught LeBron how to lead a team, essentially, when LeBron went to Miami.
Sure.
And Wade has 3 rings.
Sure.
You need to know how to work with younger players like that, and he just doesn't.
Last guy that I want to talk about here, somebody that I love watching play, Joel, the process.
The process.
Embiid, trust the process. So he's finally playing after being drafted 3rd by Philadelphia in, what was it,
2014, out of Kansas.
2014. He had the foot problems and all that. 20 points, 7.8 boards, and 2.5 blocks a game, I believe are his numbers. So he's killing it, straight up. And he's not even playing, like, full minutes, like, 35, 36 minutes. I think he plays, like, 28, 29 minutes a night.
Yeah, he is averaging 26.7 minutes
26
per game.
minutes. This guy's insane, and he's a freak athlete, too. You can still see it now that he's healthy. He's dominant for us, offensively and defensively.
Well, he's a legit 7
Oh,
foot.
absolutely.
Dominating.
100%.
Yeah.
He's like DeMarcus Cousins.
Yes. Yeah, you could equate his game to DeMarcus Cousins.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
I saw him chase down Harden the other night and just swat out a layup from behind.
I saw him throwing up 3-point shots, too.
Yeah.
He was draining.
Yeah.
He drained 2 3-point shots that I saw.
I watched the 76ers more than I watched the Chicago Bulls.
The 76ers are going to be in a championship before the Chicago Bulls will be.
Bold statement right there.
They have the young pieces that the Bulls
I'm not
don't
saying
have.
you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah, I love watching Embiid play. I really do. It's fascinating. And I like him on Twitter too. He kills Twitter.
Did he get snubbed for the All-Star game?
He did. He did not make the
That's
All-Star game.
such trash.
The voting system in the All-Star game was screwed up. He got voted in by the fans, but he's not on the team.
Yeah, he's going to be regarded at very least a top 5 center in this league. Maybe right now, but by the end of the season for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's a stud. I think he's a star.
So those are the guys that are saving the NBA for me right now. One more thing real quick. We want to talk about the Carmelo Anthony rumors. Will he be traded where? I don't think he'll be moved, but they're talking to the Clippers, the Knicks are, and they're just going to need a 3rd team because it's just not going to work out because you have to give money to take money, and the Clippers are capped out, if I'm not mistaken. They cannot, Blake Griffin can't be in the deal because some rule the NBA has where if they sign a max extension with the team, the original team that drafted them, you can only have one of those players on your team or 2, and they have them because they just traded for Derrick Rose. So Derrick Rose is one of those players. So Blake Griffin's not able to be traded to the Knicks. So I don't know what they're going to work out. Obviously, Chris Paul's hurt, so you don't want to trade any guard depth that you have. So I don't know how that's going to work. They're definitely going to need a 3rd team in there.
I don't think it's going to work. The Knicks tried to dump Carmelo on the Cavs.
Yeah, and
the
Celtics.
For Kevin Love, and if you're the Cavs, why would you take that trade?
Do that.
I mean, you have a formula. It obviously worked for you last year. Why
And maybe they were banking on, okay, the Cavs are slumping a little bit right now. We'll try to trick them into this deal. We'll get Porzingis, Love, Noah. Oh my God, but yeah, that's not going to work. They went to Boston. Boston said no, thank you. Now they're in the LA Clippers, and the Clippers have some interest. But you need a 3rd team to make this work, and I don't know who the other team is going to be that's going to want to.
I love how we talk about the Cavs slumping, and they're still the number 1 team.
They are still the number 1.
They're still the number 1 team in the East, but yeah. So Carmelo isn't a fit on the Cavs. I mean,
it's hard for him to be a fit anywhere. The guy takes so many shots.
Yeah, I mean, you could possibly talk the Celtics because they were looking to acquire another big name. They looked to acquire Jimmy Butler, but
they don't want to acquire Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, I don't. Who wants Carmelo Anthony at this point? He's not playing well.
Nobody.
He's not playing well. He's not the guy who he flat out used to be. I mean, he chased the money instead of going after a ring, and that's his prerogative to do. But you can't complain about it then when another team can't afford to trade you because you make so much and you got to get other teams involved. So he's destined to rot in New York.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us on this episode of Mom's Basement or Mind Over Matter Sports. As usual, I am Joe. That is Corey. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. Make sure you guys check us out on YouTube and on iTunes. And check out crossoverreport.com and all their social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that. Great content coming out of them. And we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Okay, I don't hear them things they say about us. Thank you, mama, thank you, papa. All the things you taught us made us stronger. I just try to make you prouder. They sleep on me constantly, I wake them up. You think I was in a monogamy, cause I ain't never gave a fuck. Feel like how the hell we make it here? Every time the ball drive, I just